Welcome again to another lecture, and this one is Natural Phenomena Part B. And remember, this is looking at very unusual and amazing things from all over the planet. Some of these will be up in the atmosphere, in the sky, some of these will be with water, and some of these will be with mountains or clouds. The natural phenomena we're looking at today, some are only in one place in the world and others can be seen in many different countries. So we hope you will enjoy some really unusual natural phenomena Part B. The next place we're going to visit is in China. In China, there are some amazing coloured mountains that have reds and blues and greens. It's in the Jiangxi Dangsha province, and I'm sorry if I've mispronounced that. The mountains here change because we have some things happening in the earth at that time, at that place. So it can only happen in this part of China. These mountains have many cliffs and crevices are little holes, and the land gets pushed up and pulled down by tectonic plates. Tectonic plates are the volcanoes and the earth moving. So the earth is always moving underground, but usually very small amounts. But in this mountain area, the moving earth made land push up quickly. The mountains that get pushed up erode, they break down, and all these amazing pieces of coloured mountain start to show up. When it rains, the colours are bright. And what we see here are some of the beautiful coloured mountains in this part of China. All natural, beautiful to photograph. And now to one of my favourite places. We're going to America. In America, there is a special national park called the Death Valley National Park. This national park has a desert, very hot, very dry, very dangerous. In the desert, there are some huge rocks, boulders. Some of these weigh up to 300 kilograms, but they can just move 250 meters across the desert by themselves. This confused scientists for many years. They would look at it, think, and had no good reason how these stones could move by themselves. Many people thought it was aliens from outer space coming down and moving the rocks. Then the scientists got some cameras, and they had cameras filming for 1 year so they could see what was happening in the desert. In the winter, it gets cold. This desert, or the playa, fills up with water. The water goes over the boulders or rocks, and now the stones have ice all over them. Sometimes there is a wind or a very light breeze, and because the desert is flat and the stone is in ice, the rock can now move. In the summer, the ice is gone, the water is gone, but you can see the track where the rock has moved. And that's what we can see here. You can see the track and where the rock has moved to. So this Death Valley Sailing Stones mystery has been solved. We're going to stop now and look at a very short YouTube video that will show you and what is happening in the desert, and you will listen to some scientists. Remember, after watching this small YouTube clip, come back to the vodcast. We're now going to look at a phenomena that is with volcanoes, and we're going to look at a lightning storm that can take place in the middle of a volcano. Very unusual. This does not happen all over the world. Scientists don't really know why this happens. They are not sure. So what I'm saying next is what scientists think. They think that when a volcano erupts, you have some positive, very small atoms, very small debris or particles in the air, in the atmosphere. These very small positive charges react with negative, and this creates lightning. So we have a volcano erupting, positive and negative, and then lightning. And this is an amazing volcanic eruption with the lightning in the middle of the volcano. And remember, lightning is usually only with clouds in the sky, not with a volcanic eruption. The next phenomena we're going to look at is called a supercell, and these can happen all over the world. A supercell is a very strong cell, like a tornado. They can spin around a lot, so sometimes the scientists call them rotating or spinning thunderstorms. These superstorms make a huge amount of hail, rain, and strong winds. And sometimes two of these cells will join together, and the supercell they create is very, very dangerous. We had one of these in Brisbane about 4 years ago, where two cells from the Gold Coast and from inland Australia joined together and then hit Brisbane city. We have only had one supercell in 100 years, so these do not happen very often. This is what a supercell looks like as it is moving to your city or moving towards your house. Very, very scary and very dangerous because they are just so strong with wind and rain and can cause a lot of damage. The next phenomena we're looking at is also up in the sky, and it's a water spout. And this is a tornado, a spinning storm that comes over the water towards the land. They are not dangerous unless, of course, you are in a boat on the ocean. They can move up to 305 kilometers an hour, and this is why they are dangerous for boats. Scientists think that some of the really unusual or mysterious shipwrecks, for example in the Bermuda Triangle, are because the boats had very bad luck with these water spouts. The water spout can pick up a whole boat and move it, take it away and destroy it. If the wind is very strong, it can lift up water from anything in a big cloud to the big cloud, the parent cloud. And then sometimes when that big water spout comes over the land, it will suddenly drop everything that is in that cloud. And so sometimes we have fish that come down from a water spout onto houses or towns not far from the ocean. So a water spout can sometimes create a really unusual phenomena. And this is what a water spout looks like. You can see that it is picking up water from here, taking it up to the parent cloud, and then it will move across the land. The next phenomena we're looking at is called a snow donut, just like the donut you eat. Not in Australia. We do not have enough snow to create snow donuts. These snow donuts only happen in places that are very, very, very cold in the winter. A large amount of snow falls and it's blown by the wind. Sometimes it joins with other snow. The wind blows again, moves the snowball, and it rolls itself into a ball. The middle of this ball collapses, disappears, and now we have a shape that looks like a donut with a hole in the middle. These can be 66 centimeters high. And this is what a natural snow donut looks like. Really amazing. I would love to see one. And now we're going to Canada, where they also have this beautiful natural phenomena, or partly man-made. In Canada, there is a famous lake called Abraham Lake. And in the summer, it looks like the other lakes in the area. But in the winter, it changes. In the winter, this lake has all these amazing bubbles and a really shiny surface that it looks like you've got a bottle of soda water and you shake it and all these bubbles have appeared. So the ice is full of frozen bubbles, and a lot of people go to skate, ice skate on this Abraham Lake because it is just so different and so beautiful, and good photographs. Why this happens is the lake is not a natural lake. The lake used to be a valley, and it used to have leaves and grass in the area. And now these dead leaves, dead grass, dead animals are at the bottom of the lake. And little by little, this produces methane gas. And this gas goes bubble, bubble, bubble up to the top of the lake. So in spring, also when the ice melts, this gas goes bubble, pop, fizz, and there's this amazing special show as well. So a very beautiful lake to visit. And you can see here the frozen bubbles in the lake and the frozen bubbles in the lake. So a beautiful place to visit and get amazing photographs if you visit Canada. Now we're going to look at something unusual that happens in the sky that scientists still can't understand. In Norway, there's a valley called the Hestalen Valley, and there were these lights that people could see in the sky that were moving, but scientists could not explain. In 1982 to 1984, these lights were happening every week, 15 to 20 times a week, and they weren't aeroplanes, they weren't anything from humans, and they weren't moving in a natural way. They were zig, zag, up, down, and scientists got photos of them, film of them, and still no idea what these lights were coming from. After 1984, the number of times the lights suddenly appear in the sky is less. So now only 10 to 20 times a year, but scientists still have no idea what these lights are. Still in the sky, we have sun dogs. These are a huge halo up in the sky. A halo like an angel has over their head. And these huge halos are because the light is changing or bending. With sundogs, we have a halo and two spots or bright light on either side of the halo. And if these halos are really, really bright, it looks like there are three suns all up in the sky, all side by side. In the ancient times, when people saw these three suns, they used to be very scared. They used to think something very bad was about to happen. Now we know it's nothing to be scared of. It just happens when the light is in the sky. These happen all over the world. So if you see a sundog, three suns in the sky, no problem. And this is what it looks like. Sun number 1, number 2, and number 3, all natural. The next phenomena we're looking at are the auroras. And I think everybody has heard of the auroras. These are in the polar areas, and they're an amazing light show in the skies and very, very high altitude. The auroras happen when energetic electrical charged particles from the wind move very quickly in the upper atmosphere. In this high atmosphere, they collide, they bump together with gas atoms, and these atoms suddenly give light. Different colored light, very beautiful light. And then this area of the world is only about 10 to 20 degrees from the magnetic poles. And the auroras, just beautiful. So if you get to places of high latitude and you have the opportunity, get some amazing photos of the auroras. The next place we're visiting is Venezuela. And I just love this place in Venezuela. There is a high mountain in the Pacaraima in the Tepanui Plateaus in South America. These mountains were seen for the first time by a famous person called Sir Walter Raleigh from England when he was visiting Venezuela in 1595. The mountain in Venezuela also has a border with Guyana and Brazil. So there are three countries that have a part of this mountain, but most of it belongs to Venezuela. The scientists think this is one of the oldest mountains on Earth. The mountain top looks so amazing. It is often used in movies because it, as I said, is just amazing to look at. And this is the mountain top. Very difficult to climb. Not many people get to the top of the mountain. Sometimes they climb down the sides of the mountain, and there are plants that grow here that are not anywhere else on Earth. We're going to stop now and look at a short YouTube clip so you can see how beautiful this mountain top is from a short video. Remember, come back to this podcast after you watch this YouTube clip. We're now going up into Iceland, and another one of my favorite places with amazing photography. In Iceland, we have ice caves that you can see at the edge of a glacier. They are not permanent. They are not there all the time, only in the winter. A little bit of melted ice gets into a crack, and then the wind blows into this and makes a cave. Ice that is hundreds of years old comes down the mountain and it changes into special glacier ice. And in this ice, there are no air bubbles, no oxygen. Because there is no oxygen, this means that in the cave, people can only see blue light. We cannot see the other colours. It's only safe to go in the cave in winter because they can collapse, they can fall down. In winter, sometimes the ice moves a little and you can hear crackle, crackle, crackle. And this means it's getting a little bit dangerous. This is the inside of a beautiful ice cave with beautiful blue bubbles. Just amazing. But very dangerous. We're going back to America now, and there is a special canyon called the Antelope Canyon. The antelope is a special animal, a type of deer. The Indians who lived in this area in America were called the Navajo, and this means the place where the water runs through the rocks. The water runs through the rocks because they have a huge amount of rain, and it's like a quick flood or a flash flood, and these are very dangerous. If you are in the canyon and there is a flash flood, most often people die, they drown. Antelope Canyon comes from an English name, and lots of antelope used to live here, and the Navajo Indians used to hunt them for food. The Navajo people have lots of old stories about this canyon, and it was a special religious place for them. Sometimes they would go to the canyon if they wanted to have a baby and that was not happening, if they were very sick and they thought the special canyon could help them cure. And in the past history, when the American soldiers were fighting the Navajo Indians, the Navajo also used to go to the canyon to hide, to be safe. So many, many stories about the Navajo people and about the canyon. Inside the canyon, it is just beautiful. The colors of the rocks, the colors of the sand, made from the water, the flash flooding going through the canyon, just beautiful. And as I said, we had in the Navajo history, there was a special person called Kokopelli, a god to help you have children, and he used to play a special music instrument, a flute, to get women to go in and help them become pregnant. This is what the Antelope Canyon looks like from inside. Just beautiful. We're going to stop the vodcast now and look at a YouTube clip, and you can see more about the Antelope Canyon in America. Remember to come back to this vodcast once you've finished watching. And now we're still in America, and we're going to a place called Nevada in the desert, and there is a geyser. This is water, hot water that comes up out of the land, and this one is called the Fly Geyser. Now this geyser is not just natural, it started with what men were doing in the land, and then there was a natural part as well. So it's some from nature, some from man. In 1964 there was a company a geothermic company, and this means using energy from under the earth. And they drilled a well down into the earth to try and find hot water or hot gas. It was a bit dangerous, so they shut the well up, but the energy from under the ground was too strong and hot water started coming up to the surface. Very hot, very steaming water, and the scientists could not stop the hot water. Because this water is from underground and from volcanic areas, there were special algae, tiny organisms that can live in this hot water. And this hot water gradually made a structure that can we see now called the Fly Geyser. And this is what it looks like. It looks like a small coloured mountain with hot water still coming up over the rocks, some steam, and then all these different colours in the Fly Geyser. So a very good place to get an amazing photo again in Nevada, in America. We're going to stop now and look again at a short video, and this one is on the Fly Geyser. And I love this photo, just the geyser in the background and these really beautiful water ponds of different colours in front. Remember, after the YouTube clip, to please come back to this vodcast. Thank you for listening again this week, and remember to click on your vodcast homework and send that to us. We look forward to being with you again next week for another vodcast. Thank you.